Guys, I'm going to do some reading from my book, What I Did for Sex. And from page 22, The Line Cook. That fall, I turned 16 and was finally old enough to work. I got a job at a local steakhouse. The 21-year-old line cook, Griffin, caught my eye. He cooked the steaks, talked with the customers, and was good friends with the owner, while I only served drinks and salads. I was impressed with his confidence and abilities. Griffin noticed me too. He asked me out and picked me up from school. In the car, he pulled out a small pipe and took a deep breath from it. He said it was weed. I was frightened because I remembered the drug education movies from 6th grade where people on drugs jumped out a window thinking they could fly, or touched a gas burner thinking the flame was a flower. The teacher said marijuana killed brain cells and was a gateway drug that led to heroin and death. Was I safe with Griffin? Or should I open the car door and make a run for it? Griffin took another hit and handed me the pipe. You want to try this? No. I didn't want to hallucinate or enter the gateway to heroin. He took another hit. He wasn't jumping out the car window to fly or doing anything strange, and he wasn't looking for heroin. The teachers lied. Damn them. I want to try it. I took the pipe from him. I took a hit and coughed. About a minute later, my entire body tingled and the world seemed woozy and far away. I wasn't sure I liked it. Griffin took me home to his apartment and offered me beer and more weed. He put on fabulous music I'd never heard, like the Outlaws and the Allman Brothers. He leaned over to kiss me. Okay, hold on a sec. Hold on. He leaned over to kiss me, and it was awkward because I was high, but I went along with it because I didn't want to be frigid. It wasn't much better than having sex in a car with the other boys, and I did not have an orgasm. He was 21. He should know how to please a woman. Afterward, he drove me home and asked when he could see me again. We set a date for that weekend. I went to my bedroom and masturbated. I was angry with him for not knowing I could have orgasms too, and using his penis to get off at my expense. I went to my desk calendar, and on that day I put a G for sex with Griffin and an O for my solo orgasm. So that's an excerpt. And and that's how sex was like for me for a few years. Then when I got to college, I decided I was no longer going to let boys have orgasms at my expense. Maybe I should read that. Hold on a sec. Actually, I'm going to keep reading because this is the only conversation my dad ever had with me about sex. And it's coming up, so let's keep reading here. Okay. And here's a little titty for the guys. Some eye candy for the guys. I came across a book on sexual fantasies and thought something was wrong with me for not having them. I began fantasizing during masturbation, a habit that turned out to be difficult to undo later in life. I didn't want to tell Griffin about any of my fantasies. Okay, Griffin became my boyfriend and I became his girlfriend. I didn't go out with other boys or have sex with them anymore because I wasn't going to be a cheater like my dad. It wasn't because I loved him. I didn't love Griffin. He bored me and rarely took me out. We stayed in his apartment listening to music and smoking weed. He wasn't suitable long-term either because he was blue-collar and I wanted a man with a college degree who meditated, could provide for a family, and didn't do drugs. I liked Griffin because he gave me freedom and a footstep into the adult world. He had his own place, alcohol and weed. I loved cleaning his apartment with the music blasting and a drink in my hand, and no parents or teachers telling me what to do. At work, he aroused me with his tight jeans and nice ass, and the respect he got from our boss and customers. That Christmas, my dad bought me a car. It was a stick shift and only a few years old. I was astounded. I had not even asked for it. Finally, I was free to go places without borrowing my mother's car. I spent more time with Griffin after that. I had a curfew which I ignored. Sometimes I spent the night. I lied and told my mom I was with my girlfriend. She figured it out, and a few times she came to Griffin's apartment late at night to get me, presumably to avoid us having sex, which we had already done, so it made no sense. I was angry that she made me come home when I wanted to be with him. Griffin was nice to me, and all her efforts just prevented us from cuddling at night. When I did spend the night, she stood silently and gave me the silent treatment when I came home. I still couldn't see what was so bad about being with my boyfriend. I went to Planned Parenthood to get birth control pills because I didn't want to get pregnant. My dad found out. He brought it up when we were standing on his patio looking out over the fruit trees. "You're like a dog having sex. Sex is for animals," he yelled. It was super awkward. Was he a dog too when he had sex? Why wasn't he glad I was on the pill? Should I be ashamed of liking sex and having a boyfriend? I wanted to get away from his anger. I walked towards the house, and right as I passed him, he turned around and slapped me. He was mean to attack me from behind. Told you my dad is an ass. But then, by the time I got to college, I decided that men were no longer going to have orgasms at my expense, so I taught them how to play with my clitoris so I could come too. And I faked an orgasm once in my life just to see what it was like. It's like, I'm not going to fake an orgasm. If you don't get me off, fuck you. I'm not going to come. Pretend that you were so awesome when you weren't. I have other issues I struggle with still, but am I taking too long is the big one. But I want to read to you some of the stuff from the back of my book, some of these quotes, which I think are like, I picked some favorite quotes. This is when I was a new mom. I had my family, but I had lost my freedom. I lay next to my husband in bed night after night longing to kiss, and since he didn't let me kiss him and she did, I longed for her instead. I wasn't going to ask for alimony or child support. I didn't want to be one of those women whose lifestyle was dependent on a man she was no longer fucking. I was going to build a career and make my own way in the world, and that's exactly what I've done. Okay, I'm going to make a few more videos. I really ought to, I don't know if I will, have some of my book made into a screenplay. It would make such a good movie. Thank you for watching my video.